Hello, welcome to White Birch Tarot. I'm doing this reading on, well, it's late Wednesday night, July 13th, so really this is Thursday the 14th by the calendar. And the nodes of the moon, which aren't exactly real things, it's something to do with the orbit between the Earth and the moon and the sun. I don't quite understand it astronomically, but I know what it means astrologically. So the nodes of the moon, the north node is kind of your fate, what's in front of you, what you need to be working on, what will come up. And the south node is kind of what you're moving out of, what you're done with. And they change every 18 months about. And they just changed today, Wednesday the 13th of July. And we're all born with north and south nodes in our birth chart. So if you don't know where yours are, you can look on astro.com and put in your birth information. You don't even need your time for this, but you won't know what house they're in if you don't know the time. But you will know the signs. And they're opposite each other. And again, the north node is what you're supposed to be moving toward in this lifetime. And the south node is kind of what you're more familiar with. It's your default position, but it's kind of what you're supposed to be moving away from. So the nodes are changing. They just changed today in the sky, the transiting nodes. And so the north node moved they go backwards. They go backwards from the planet, so they're always retrograde, which to them isn't retrograde, if that makes any sense. It's normal for them. So the north node just went from Taurus, 0 degrees Taurus into 29 degrees of Aries. So the north node is in Aries, so that's the direction we're heading, is into Aries country. And the south node just moved from 0 degrees of Scorpio into 29 degrees of Libra. So that is Libra rules harmony and balance and relationships. So from my way of thinking, it seems like we are going to be taking stock about like who we are at our core and what do we want for ourselves, and moving in that direction and defining ourselves and moving a little bit away from relationship energy, not to say we won't have relationships, of course we will, but we will be less defined by them, and some of our toxic relationships or relationships that aren't working we might end them, or they might end on their own, and we will just be thinking less of what people think about us and more about what we want for ourselves. And so for some of us who are people pleasers and kind of nurturing or whatever, and used to focusing on others, this might be tricky and challenging. So I thought I would do a reading. Obviously, this isn't going to cover the whole year and a half, but they're changing, and I've been feeling very strange the last few days. I think my body is feeling the energy as it changes. I don't know. I would love to know if anybody else is feeling that. I feel like things are really weird right now, and that's the only thing I can think of. Although, I forgot to bring in I had the astrology written down. There's more. Mercury just moved into Leo from Cancer, so I'm hoping that will make, things less emotional, although the sun is still in Cancer. And I had some other stuff written down, but I was going to say it isn't important. Of course it's all important, but anyway, we will talk about that next time. I'm just going to read a quick quote, that's hard to say, from the poet Sylvia Plath. And she said, "I am learning how to compromise the wild dream ideals and the necessary realities without such screaming pain." Oh boy, I can relate to that. Yeah. Okay. So I've pulled some cards and I'm really tired, and I think, here I am posting in public and I shouldn't say things like that. I'm supposed to be all super confident, but you know what? I am just a very real, honest person, and so I assure you that you will never get any BS on my channel. If I don't know something, I will say it, And that's just the way it is. So if you want flash, you're going to have to go somewhere else. I'm not flashy. I'm usually pooped, but I do my best. So I started out by pulling the Judgment card. And this is interesting, I think, because I associate this a lot with, it's not the same as Justice. Justice is really the card for Libra, but I kind of associate Judgment with Libra a little bit. And as I told you, the South Node is just moving into Libra. And again, the South Node is kind of what we're leaving behind a little bit. So we're moving towards the Aries energy, which is about us. And I don't see any Aries energy here, which is really interesting. So anyway, Judgment is just what it sounds like. It's kind of it's reconnoitering. I haven't heard that word in a long time. It's taking stock of where we've been. It's the past, present, and future. And I suppose if you're going to think about, who I am and what I want, you do have to think about where you've come from and where you're going. So actually this does make sense, because I was sitting here thinking tonight, what do I want to do with the rest of my life? And I couldn't come up with an answer. I thought, I don't know what I want. So Aries is all about not only discovering who you are, but what you desire. So here we are. We're going to take stock. It's time to take stock of what you've been doing, what you want to do, what you are currently doing. And then we get Temperance. And this is a great card. This is usually associated, I think, with Jupiter and Sagittarius, I believe. And this is Iris, the rainbow. And this is all about balance and harmony. And again, that's Libran energy, because Libra is the balance. So we are, I think, again, like measuring. I feel like she's measuring that water. Like, okay, which relationships am I going to keep? Which relationships am I going to toss? Again, it's a weighing, it's a judging of what am I doing? What have I done? What do I want to do? It's really time to take stock of our lives and what we're going to do with our energy. And then I get the Two of Swords, which is, it's not a great card. It's a card of opposing ideas and not knowing which one to listen to. And again, I find this interesting because you could think of Libra as the Two of Swords, because swords rule air. Swords are air, which are thoughts, and Libra is an air sign. And it's usually a picture of the woman with the scales. So we have, 1, 2. So I feel like this person is thinking, do I go this way? Do I go that way? Do I listen to this idea? Do I listen to that idea? And they just don't know, which again tells me we need to really stop and think about, what do I do next? Because this person clearly doesn't know. Okay, I'm trying not to reach in front of the camera like I usually do. And then we get the Seven of Cups. In fact, I'm kind of feeling like the top row of cards might be the South Node and the bottom row might be the North Node. I'm just guessing, I don't know. Because then we get the Seven of Cups, which is about, this is the pie in the sky. This is the fantasy card, where you dream about what you want, but is it possible in reality? Usually not when it's the Seven of Cups. It's the fantasy card. And I'm not saying that it's not okay to have fantasy and imagination is wonderful, because otherwise we'd never achieve anything or create anything. But just make sure that it's realistic and that it's what you really want. And again, this feels to me like this could be us moving the South Node in Libra, balancing out which relationships are working and which aren't, because cups are emotions. And if you think about it, a lot of our emotional energy comes from relationships, even with ourselves. So this is telling us to watch out for, okay, be very cognizant, think very carefully about what you've been spending your time dreaming about and wishing for. Is it really good for you, and is that what you really want? Okay, then we go to the bottom row and I draw Strength. This is great. This is usually associated with Leo, as you can tell, because there's a lion. But it's all about taming your inner demons and having courage and self-confidence and having the strength to go for what you want. And strength is related, since it's related to Leo, it's related to desire a bit, because Leo is about, well, Leo rules romance, and it rules creativity, and it rules like being yourself and expressing yourself and letting your light shine. So this is telling me that this would be a good time to discover what your strengths are and to, to let them out. Let them out. And then I drew the Ace of Swords, which is, in most decks, it's sort of like the birth of a new idea. And it is also that in this deck as well, but it's a little bit of more of a battle card, where we do have a new idea coming in, but it's a struggle to get to it or to clarify it, because she's in sort of battle dress, if that makes any sense in this deck. So you may have a thought about, like trying to clarify, or find one purpose, I want to find one thing that really matters to me, and you might struggle to do that, although it looks like it may be necessary. Oh, reaching around the wrong way again. Okay, then I drew the Tower. I don't know why I'm not surprised to see this. This is usually Uranus, and I think, what day is it that the Sun trines Uranus? I wish I could look at my ephemeris is on my iPad, which I'm using to record, so I can't. Well, I could have looked on my phone, but it's turned off. Anyway, in a few days, the Sun will trine Uranus, but that only lasts for like 1 day. So when those really fast aspects happen, yeah, they can cause something. But to me, the major arcana are really more of a long-term effect. So I feel like the nodes shifting are going to cause a real change. And let's see, there was something else. Let's see, something else coming up. Chiron is in Aries, where the North Node is moving into, and Chiron is the wounded healer. And I don't know, I feel like there's a big change coming. I'm not quite sure what it is. Maybe it's the nodes that changed today, but I smell change in the wind. Do you? I really do. So something is going to shift. Something sudden is going to turn around, and this could be external or it could be internal. I don't know, but and we don't know if it's a positive or a negative change. I usually get a little leery when I see this, because I'm an earth sign. I just don't like things to just go boom like that usually, but they can be a really good thing too. So something sudden's coming in. Could be an idea with that Ace of Swords. And the last card I draw is the Moon, which is the subconscious. And so coming with Strength, Ace of Swords, and the Tower, and the Moon, I'm thinking this could be a sudden realization of something inside yourself from your subconscious that changes everything. Could be a memory, could be releasing some old trauma, could be a relation. I don't really see a lot of relationship energy here. But again, with the South Node in Libra, I feel like relationships are going to be involved, definitely. There's just no way around it. We are going to be releasing some relationships that we have. Anyway, so the Moon can sometimes be tricky because we can be in the grip of the unconscious. But since it's coming with the Tower, I feel like maybe an unconscious realization is going to be coming up. And let me draw some oracle cards and see how that's going to affect us. In fact, let me draw one more. When I picked up the deck, the bottom card was the King of Pentacles, which is very stable energy. And just now, this is on the bottom of the deck, Justice. Here's Libra. I just knew she was going to come out. I mean, it was on the bottom of the deck, so I count that. Here's Libra. Here's the balance. Something needs to be balanced that's out of balance. And it may take a sudden realization or a sudden event from outside to make us finally, finally go, wait a minute, this is out of balance and I'm going to fix it. Maybe that's I was going to draw another one of these cards, but I think that's the one that wanted to come out, was the bottom one. Okay, let's get the oracle cards out and see. So I think what's coming up is a shift that involves, it's funny, I don't see a lot of self-discovery here like I thought with Aries on an outer level. I see it on an inner level. I really expected more outer cards, although Strength is an outer card. This is letting our light shine. This reminds me more of Venus in Leo, though, and Mercury moving into Leo. Maybe it's too soon for the nodes to be taking effect. Okay, this one just fell out. So help, what are we doing here? A change in the wind. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we got the Tower, for heaven's sake. So, you know what? It's probably a little too early for the nodes to be taking effect. They just changed literally today, which was, by the time you see this, will probably be yesterday. Time is so confusing. When I say today, I mean Wednesday, July 13th, because I'm doing this at night, so it's actually going to be for Thursday the 14th. But change in the wind, yes, definitely a change in the wind. I, for one, am looking forward to a change in the wind. I don't know about you, but yeah. Okay, and then I get the Observer. The Observer, okay. We've got a lot of observing going on. Judgment and Two of Swords and Ace of Swords. Lots of thinking. And again, the South Node in Libra, even though the South Node is kind of the energy we're moving away from, we still have to take it into account because that's where the South Node is and that's going to be our default position. And Librans are very observant. They can be they can step outside a situation and see both sides of it. That's why it's the scales. So I feel like we're really going to be, again, weighing things. And I'm just going to draw one more. I really feel like we're going to be weighing things and judging them quite a bit. Okay, we got this last time or the time before. Message in a bottle. And again, I feel like since this is coming out of the ocean, to me, this message doesn't come from outside you, it comes from your subconscious. Although it is possible that since it's in water, it could also come from an emotion, which could come from a relationship. But I don't feel like it's so much the other person as it is your feelings about someone else, because it's coming from your subconscious or your emotional world, down where the icebergs are, where you don't dig deep very often. Up pops something that you need to know. Interesting reading. So I hope that this change in nodes is going to be positive. I think it will. I think it will help us define who we are and what we want, and I think that's very necessary, but that can be hard work too. It can be fun. Aries is a fun energy. So I'm hoping that, I don't see a lot of fun here, but maybe that will come later. Strength in the Tower, the Strength is great and Tower is changing, so just be on the lookout. Things are changing and you really need to use your judgment very carefully and analyze and observe what have you been doing, what's been working, what hasn't been working. And you might need to switch it up a bit. So, and it might get switched up a bit for you, okay? All right, thank you so much for watching. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons. And I will talk to you soon. We have a new moon in a few days. I'm going to try to post. That's going to be interesting. And I hope I can get this thing to let me, so you can share your comments. I keep putting it on and then it turns it off. So I will try. Thank you. Good night.